Hello, I'm Kevin DeForge, founder and CEO of Echodify, and in this video I would like to explain to you what your common file storage is and how to use it. So let's begin. I have already logged into my Echodify account at echodify.com, and I am presented here with the start page, which may look a little different than yours, just as we continue to improve the product and make things better and easier. What is common file storage? Common file storage is linked to your virtual legacies, whether or not you have one or more, and it is the actual physical place that your file uploads are uploaded to. A good way to describe what common file storage is and how it relates to your virtual legacies is by looking at a diagram, and we do have a nice diagram on the help page. So if I click on the pancakes and I click on help, we do have a question here. Where are my uploaded files stored in my account? Must everything be attached to a virtual legacy? So I'm just going to click that question and expand the answer and just bring this diagram in view just to explain this to you. So common file storage is simply kind of like the disk drive that physically holds your file uploads. And think of it represented as this box here toward the top of this diagram. So over here on the left, you have your computer, you have files on your computer or your smartphone device, and you upload those files into your Echodify account by dragging them and dropping them onto the orange dotted line on your common file storage. And again, I know you can also do the same thing using a virtual legacy, but I'm going to get to that. That's slightly different. Once you do that, those files are uploaded into your Echodify account, and they are physically stored in your common file storage. Now, your common file storage is separate and distinct from all your virtual legacies, whether you have just one or more than one. But the key here is you only get access to a common file storage if you have at least one virtual legacy, because it is data storage. It coincides with the use of virtual legacies. And so if you just have an Echodify account but no virtual legacies purchased, you will not have access to a working common file storage. However, once you purchase your very first virtual legacy, no matter its size, you will get a correspondingly sized common file storage into which your file uploads are placed. This diagram shows that your common file storage kind of exists over and above all your virtual legacies. All I mean by that is your virtual legacies have access to all of the files stored in your common file storage, and you can attach any number of them, any combination of them, to any one of your virtual legacies. And the key point here is to allow you to make virtual legacies different and distinct from one another according to however you want to create them. Let me give you an example, just in case that was a lot of explanation. So here in this diagram, I am showing three virtual legacies, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Let's suppose that I want to send each virtual legacy to each of my 3 children. Now, in each virtual legacy, I want to give each of my children the same set of files. So there's like 3 or 4 files that I want each child to have a copy of. But I also have specific files I want to give child number 1. I want different specific files to only go to child number 2. And I want yet another set of different files to go to child number 3. All those files exist in my common file storage. And so in each of my virtual legacies, I am able to attach the same set of files that I want to go to each one of my kids, and I'm able to attach those specific files that only get attached to these specific virtual legacies. All those files exist in the one and only one common file storage that you have associated with your account. Again, that is active once you purchase your first virtual legacy. but each virtual legacy has access to your common file storage. That's how you can attach files to each virtual legacy, and you are able to go through and customize the file attachments in each virtual legacy, making those file attachments specific to the legacy, which is specific to the people that you want to send that legacy to. So I'm going to scroll back up. I'm going to click this button here on the sidebar menu, which is my uploads, and I can confirm it's my uploads by clicking on the plus, expanding that menu bar out, and yes, it is my uploads. And when I click my uploads, here I have access to my common file storage. Now, just as a quick review, I have a common file storage because I have purchased one or more virtual legacies. If I only purchase one virtual legacy, which I did, my total space of my common file storage is going to be identical to the size of my one and only one VL. And I hope that makes sense. The more virtual legacies I purchase, the more total space I have in my common file storage. And simply put, your total space of your common file storage is the aggregation or the sum of all of the spaces or sizes of all of the virtual legacies that you purchase. Your common file storage has a file upload button here. This is one of those old school manual file upload dialog boxes that you can access by pressing this button. And if I do, I will be presented with a file selector. I can select one or more files, hit OK, press upload, and they'll all be uploaded. Alternatively, because this is a dotted orange box here, that is giving me indication that this is an active drag and drop box that I can also use to upload files. And I will do that here now. I'll bring up some sample files. I'll just choose 3 of them. Hold click, drag, drop, and release on the orange dotted line box. And there they are, all uploaded. If I want to clear this all out, I can press delete all files and it will delete everything. But remember, this is the physical files that you've uploaded. If you've already attached these to one or more virtual legacies, and you go ahead and you delete the physical file, it will no longer exist for your virtual legacies that you've already attached it to. Essentially, when you press this button, it will be detached from all the virtual legacies that you have attached that file to. So be careful when you're managing your file uploads. Now, there's one other way that I can access my common file storage, which is essentially this box here that represents that physical location that my files are uploaded to. And that is part of the process of creating a virtual legacy. So let's look at that process. Maybe this is review for you, but if not, go ahead and watch our video about how to create a virtual legacy or about virtual legacies for more information. But I'm going to go ahead up here to the menu bar at the top and click the wand button. And I'm going to go ahead and start the process of creating a new virtual legacy. And the process is a 4-step process where we guide you through the simple steps of making your connections, selecting your virtual legacy, managing your uploads, and then finally, after you're all satisfied with that, creating the actual virtual legacy. And notice step 3 is manage your uploads. It's going to give you access to the same view into your common file storage as if you were to click on the button on the menu over here that we clicked on several minutes ago. So we're on step 1 by default when we create a new virtual legacy. Let me click on step 2 to select a virtual legacy. I actually have a brand new one here ready to go, so I'm going to select it. And I'm automatically brought to the next step in the process, step 3, manage my uploads. If I scroll down a little bit, notice I have the exact same type of box that represents my common file storage that I just showed you when we clicked on it over here on the menu bar, and that's because it's the exact same thing. You have one and only one common file storage, and here it is, quickly presented to you as part of the process to create a virtual legacy, just in case right here, right now, you want to do some curating, some managing of your physical files before you create your virtual legacy. Now let's just suppose that, oh well, let me just upload another file, prescriptions.txt. So I will hold, click, drag and drop and release. And my prescriptions, here it is over here, was uploaded into my CFS. And now let me complete the 4-step process of creating a VL by clicking on step number 4, create the VL. Here is the virtual legacy. It is blank. There are no files attached to it, but I know that I already have about 8, 9, or 10 files in my common file storage. And because I already have files in my CFS, if I drop down this drop-down box here, I can see all of my files that already exist in my CFS. And if I want to attach any one of them to this virtual legacy, let's say that prescriptions.txt file I just uploaded, all I do is I select it, and I have to press attach. Don't just select it and leave it there and think it's attached. It's not. You have to select attach to complete the attaching process. Once you do, you can see it attached right here. That should be the confirmation to you that that file is attached. Remember, this is not the physical file. The physical file is in your common file storage. You have simply attached it to this virtual legacy such that when this VL is sent or delivered to your recipients, they will be able to have access to that file, and only that file if you just leave it here as one. Now, this is a little bit overlap with the instruction video of how to create a virtual legacy. But in a virtual legacy, you do have buttons to attach all CFS files. So if I press that button, and I will right now, I will attach every single file that exists in my CFS. And I can go ahead and detach all files from this virtual legacy. There it is, instantaneously clearing it out. And I have thus detached all those files from this virtual legacy. Remember, you attach and detach files from a virtual legacy, but they still exist in your common file storage. When you detach a file from a virtual legacy, you do not delete it out of your common file storage. It's still there. The only way to delete the file is to go to your common file storage and actually click on the X, delete, or click on this button to delete all files. So if I don't like, let's just suppose that prescription text file, I just don't want there anymore, I can go ahead and click that X, delete. And once I click that delete button, it's now physically deleted. It is permanently gone out of my Echodify account, and I no longer can attach it to any virtual legacy. The last thing I want to explain is, if you remember back toward the beginning of this instruction video, I mentioned that you can upload files directly into your common file storage, but there is another way that you can kind of do the same thing, but it's different, through a virtual legacy. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let's go ahead and go back to that virtual legacy that we just began to create. And I can access that by clicking on my virtual legacies. And it's this draft virtual legacy here under this category. And I know it's a draft. It's no longer a new virtual legacy, remember, because I just changed things about it. And when you change a new virtual legacy, it saves it as a draft automatically. That's why I'm going here, going to drafts, and then I'm going to click on edit to bring that virtual legacy back up in edit mode. This is where we were. So this virtual legacy as I just said, has the ability to have files attached to it. And I'll just do that right now. So I've just attached my photography career.rar. However, you'll notice that there also is a dotted orange line around this box, around the file attachment box on this virtual legacy. And it is almost as if you can drag and drop files directly in there. And guess what? You can. And let me demonstrate by selecting a couple of files. Let me grab the prescriptions one again. I will hold, click, drag, and drop, hover over the box and release. Notice it says attaching. And when those files are done uploading, they are now attached to this virtual legacy. And let me explain to you what just happened, because this is not your common file storage box. This is a virtual legacy. So when you drag and drop files directly into the attached files box, you actually upload those to your common file storage and attach them to this virtual legacy all at the same time, just to make it easier and more intuitive for you. So take the smiley face.jpg file. If I go over here to my uploads, it's there. And actually, this is the physical file. If I want to delete the physical file, I would click that X, delete. And let me just do that right now. And now that smiley face is gone. And maybe I don't like Michael Jackson's icon here. I'm going to also delete that as well. Let me go back to that virtual legacy. Click on drafts, bring up the draft, put it in edit mode. And notice that by deleting the physical files out of the common file storage, it now automatically detached those from the virtual legacy. So in a nutshell, you have two ways of uploading files into your Echodify account. Number one is you can upload into your common file storage, but it doesn't attach to any virtual legacy. You have to then go and attach those files to whatever virtual legacies you want them attached to as a separate step, separate process. Or two, if you have a virtual legacy right in front of you, you can drag and drop files into the attached file box here. It will upload them into your common file storage and attach them directly to that virtual legacy, all in one motion. And so that's two ways that you can upload files. Really important thing for me to say to you right now is be careful, because when you upload a file that has the exact same file name as something that already exists in your common file storage, it will overwrite it. It will not create two separate instances. It will overwrite it. So be very careful how you manage your file uploads. So as an example, if you have over here on the right, if you have a personal budget.xlsx, and I don't know if this is in common file storage yet, so I'm going to click on manage my uploads. It is. It's personal budget.xlsx. Let's just suppose that over here on my computer, I've updated that file. But I've already attached the one in my CFS to a virtual legacy. And I don't want it to have the uploads. I don't want it to have the updates. If I go ahead and drag and drop that personal budget.xlsx into here, common file storage, it now just re-uploaded that file and overwrote the one that was already there, affecting any virtual legacy I've already attached that file to. So I just want to make that mention. I just want to describe that to you pretty clearly, that you can only have one file per file name. If you try to upload a file with the same file name and the same file type, like this is an Excel file, it will overwrite, thereby potentially affecting the content you have in your virtual legacies if you've already attached that file to those virtual legacies. I hope that makes sense. So here as a recap, maybe this diagram makes more sense to you now. Here we have your common file storage. Here we have virtual legacy 1, 2, and 3. I can upload into my CFS, but it will not attach to virtual legacies until I go and actually attach them to the specific virtual legacies I want them attached to. I can upload directly into a virtual legacy. It will upload into my common file storage because that's really where the files are stored. It will also attach them to the virtual legacy I've uploaded them through. And again, as a recap, if I upload a file that is of the same name and type as a file I already have in my common file storage, it will overwrite it. If you have any questions, let us know. I hope this video was insightful and helpful. Let us know. Drop us some comments or feedback. We would love to hear from you. Thank you and have a nice day.